It would be good to be king. It would be good, right? We could do whatever we wanted. We could ensure our own well-being, and if we wanted to, only if we wanted to, we could ensure the well-being of those we care about, if we want. We could know a life, if we were king, we could know a life that is so far out of reach, so far beyond the life we know now. Anything we needed. Everything we wanted. It could all be bought by the wealth of a king. It would be good to be king. We could sit apart. We could be above it all. We would never have to involve ourselves again in the lives of people. Wouldn't have to do that. We could only ever come down to real life if we wanted to, if we chose to, from our thrones of distance and security. We could insulate ourselves from ever again assuming the struggle of another. It would be good to be king. We'd never have to know labor again. We wouldn't have to work. We could be, so to speak, the taskmasters of delegation. Never again would we have to taste the sweat of our own anxiety and wonder if what we had done was going to be good enough. It would be good to be king. We'd have no one to answer to, no one reminding us, nagging to us our responsibilities, no one threatening us with consequences, no one whose orders we would have to follow. It would be good to be king. It would be good to be king. That is, unless we chose to be a king who's crowned with human pain, sorrow, and defeat. Yes, we could have it all. And this king did. He had it all. All of the heavens, all of the earth is his kingdom. He had it all. He has it all. But rather than a priceless crown reflective of his divine majesty, he was crowned with thorns on the day of his coronation. It would be good to be king unless you chose to be a king whose throne casts you deep into the human experience and struggle from the cross between life and death, pain and relief, rejection and acceptance, love and hate. Rather than insulating himself and keeping a safe distance from the desperate and short-sighted hearts of us, his subjects, this king from his throne, from the throne of the cross, he plummeted the depths of human darkness, inconsolable suffering, and irreversible death. It would be good to be king, unless you chose to be a king who, rather than listening to, refused the tempting and nagging voices of self-importance, self-aggrandizement, and self altogether. Save yourself. Save yourself. This was what the voices were telling Jesus on his cross. Save yourself. But this king, he refused those voices to his own peril. It would be good to be king unless you assume the work, the part that no one else can do for themselves, unless you take on that impossible task of saving another. And not just saving them for a time, but saving them with finality, saving them for eternity. That work, that labor, that is not cheap. It is a costly labor and would cost this king much more than human sweat. Would it really be good to be king? Would it really be good to be king? We often act otherwise. We often have those thoughts that should be our throne. We should be the ones wearing the crown. We should be the taskmasters. We should be the ones who are king. But that is just our sinful pride and our grave human temptation. Because there is not one of us here. There is not one of us here who is not in need of the real king, the only king, Jesus Christ, who is king of the entire universe. It would not be good for us to be king. In fact, it would be a terrible thing for any one of us to be king and supplant the king, Jesus Christ. But guys, it is nothing short of complete goodness. It is nothing short of bountiful grace to be his subjects who are the objects of his undying, unconditional, all good, all merciful love. It is complete goodness and bountiful grace to be his subjects who are the objects of that fierce and intense love of our King. It is complete goodness and bountiful grace that he calls us his disciples, his friends, to be co-heirs of his kingdom, to be raised up next to him on the cross, not squashed down and condemned, but raised up to his equal on our own crosses next to the cross of our King on his throne. And with the voice of that repentant thief simply daring to say, "Remember me. Remember us, Lord." And hearing every single time from the voice of our King, "Amen. You will be with me in paradise this day."